Hey y'all, so today I'm doing the concert book tag, and I first saw it from Break Even Books, and I'm going to link his channel down below. He had some great answers for it, so go ahead and check out his video as well, and we'll go ahead and get started with this concert. So the first prompt is Tickets, a book that you have purchased most recently, and so my most recent book that I purchased was The Weight of a Soul. It's about a Viking clan, and I love Norse mythology and, you know, Viking in general, so I wanted to read this one. I don't know too much about the story because I don't like to go into books with too much of the story in mind, because sometimes I feel like there's too many spoilers, so that's just a basic overview. It looked gorgeous, and with it being about Vikings and a Viking clan and Norse mythology, I was absolutely interested. What's really strange is I was waiting on this book in the mail, and it told me that it had been delivered, and then I go out there and it's just an empty Amazon Prime sleeve with nothing in it. It wasn't even sealed, so I had to wait for a second copy to come in. It was quite disappointing, but it finally came in the mail. The second prompt is The Crowd, which is a bookish community that you love. And that would have to be Knickknack's Corner. That's one of the first booktube communities that I ever really been a part of, and everyone there is so welcoming and friendly, and we all support each other because a lot of people also have their own booktube channels. So I'll go ahead and link that Discord down below if you would like to join. We have great conversations, and you can meet a whole lot of other booktubers as well. It's just a really great place. The other community that I love is Mike's Book Reviews. I'm part of his booktube Discord chat as well, and there's a lot of people over there that, I mean, they have amazing in-depth discussions about all of the major fantasy books, and it has really helped me. And it helps you think through things. You just get to know a bunch of great people, so check those out. Prompt 3 is Singalong, a book that you quote as often as you can. And usually I tend to think of Harry Potter, but I don't really quote it that often. What I do quote is The Girl Who Stopped Swimming by Jocelyn Jackson. And I love this book, and I quote it so often, just different lines. I don't know what it is. I listened to this initially on audio, and so that also helps, like just quoting from the audiobook itself. But this is a great book, and one of the things that I say often is it's actually a reference to another favorite book of mine, which is She's Cow Slipping. I say that all the time for people who are delusional or ignoring things that they probably should know, or they do realize and they're just ignoring it. I always say she's cow slipping, and that's from this book. But cow slipping is a reference from Watership Down, which I also love. Prompt 4 is Sold Out, a book that you're really looking forward to reading but haven't read yet. And for me, that is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I'm sure you've heard just as much as I have about this book and the characters in it and the plot and the writing, so you know just as well as I do why everyone is talking about this book, and I want to be a part of that conversation. I want to read it and talk about it because it just sounds so great. So here soon, it's in my second set, I'll be getting to it. Prompt 5 is The Band, a book or series that you want other people to read it so you can talk about it. And for me, that would probably be The 13th Tale. I mention that all the time, but I would also say anything by Gillian Flynn. I love all 3 of her books as well, so I would go with either of those. I say them all the time. I'm sure you're not surprised. Prompt 6 is Encore, a book or series that you wish had just one more book or just a little bit more in general. So my first instinct is to say Harry Potter, because I love that series so much, but then The Cursed Child happened, and I wish it hadn't. I don't even want to talk about it. It ruined it. I pretend it never happened. So sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. I'm afraid to wish for more of anything anymore. Prompt 7, Opening Act, a book that you didn't expect to love but did. So I have to give you background for you to fully understand why I didn't think I was going to like this book. So the first thing you need to know about me is how I used to choose my books to read. So I would only buy 2 or 3 at a time, and then once I read those 2 or 3, then I would go back to the store, usually Barnes & Noble, and buy 2 or 3 more. So I would go to Barnes & Noble, and I would go through the shelves, and I would, if a cover or a title sounded interesting to me, I would pick it up, I might read the synopsis, kind of look at it a little bit more, and then I try to do this as blank-mindedly as possible. I don't know how else to say it, but just like subconsciously decide if I want to hold on to it or put it back. So I read it, and then I just kind of let myself naturally keep looking with the book in my hand or put it back. And then by the time I got through the shelves that I was looking at, then I might have 2 or 3 in my hand, and those are the books that I'm buying. Or if I have a few more, then I would put a couple back, you know, out of that stack. So it was always a subconscious thing of what book am I going to pick up. And I feel like that's how I found a lot of hidden gems. Because this was, you know, years ago before I was part of a book community at all. It was just me, you know, going by myself to the bookstore and reading what I found. So that's how I found this book. This was several years ago, before I had the book community that I have now, before I have my current set of TBR where I just do the sets of 10, before any of that. The second thing you need to know about me is I hate the color orange. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. That's it. I hate the color orange. The third thing you need to know about me is I also, I'm afraid of spiders. Very afraid of spiders. So, enter in the book, and it's by David Wong, this book is full of spiders. So, this is how I saw it, you know, through the spine. It's very orange. And it's literally called This Book is Full of Spiders. I don't know what made me pick up this book in the first place. I feel like this book is everything that I hate in a book. The cover and what it's called. But something just subconsciously, once again, I picked up the book. Now, there wasn't really a synopsis, and because, well, there is a synopsis, but I wasn't really sure how I felt about the synopsis. And sometimes if I still can't really decide, I may read like the first paragraph or 2 of the book. So I'm going to skip down into the middle of the second paragraph because I just was going to read, like whenever I was standing there, I read this first little section. So this is what made me keep the book and actually read it. So it says, "If you do not know who I am, that's perfect. That means you didn't read the previous book in the saga, which, to be frank, doesn't paint me in the best light. No, don't go read it now. It's better if we start fresh. So hello, stranger. I'm pleased to have this fresh opportunity to try to convince you that I am not a shithead. Just skip to the next paragraph." And and that's all I read. And I don't know, so this is the sequel to John Dies at the End. So not only is this book orange and called This Book is Full of Spiders, it's also a sequel that I didn't read the first one of. But I read that paragraph and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. And I actually enjoyed it. It's a sci-fi book, which normally I don't read sci-fi. It's got a bit of absurdism in it, which I normally do not enjoy. I don't. It's not as bad as the first book. So after I finished this one, I went and picked up John Dies at the End, and I've actually paused it. I'm in the middle of it, but it's just something happened and it's too absurd. And I was like, I can't read this right now. And that was a few years ago when I've just never picked it back up. So I don't know what it was. The whole situation around this book just screamed, you're not gonna like it. And I did. It's bizarre. Prompt number 8 is merch table. Bookish merch you wish you owned. The only thing I can really think of is there's a leather bound set of Harry Potter books that are for Hufflepuffs, because I'm a Hufflepuff. And I would absolutely love that. They're like $120 for that set, and I can't really afford to spend that much on a set of books I've already got. But I would absolutely love a Hufflepuff leather-bound set of Harry Potter. Number 9 is Concert Friend, a book you've bonded with someone over. And I think that would be Gone Girl. I listened to that on audio with my daughter. And I know I've talked a little bit about it before, but that is a book that we listened to together. She's 15, and so this was her first kind of a thriller novel, and we both really enjoyed it. It was a reread for me at the time, but I just loved like waiting for certain plot points to get to get to those plot points to kind of see her reaction. And then I love to hear her thoughts about it and what she thought was going to happen. It was just a great time for both of us. Prompt 10 is Tour Announcement, a book that you can't wait to be released. And this is kind of a tricky question because a lot of the books that I'm really into now, they've already been released, or they're part of a series that multiple sequels have been released already. There's a few Sanderson novels that I'm kind of excited about, like the 4th Starlight Archive book that's coming out, but I haven't read the first 3. I just know that it's coming. I just haven't read the first 3 yet, but I'm sure I'm going to love them. So I guess you could kind of count that. But I mean, the only other one that I could think of past that, which I didn't really feel was fair because I haven't even read the first of that series yet. So I guess A Sleight of Shadows, which is a sequel to this, An Unkindness of Magicians. It's supposed to come out in June, so I guess I'll go with that one because that's the closest I could really come to actually answering the prompt. All right, so those were the 10 prompts for concert tag. If you want to do the tag yourself, feel free. I'll go ahead and put the question or the prompts down below, and y'all take care. Bye.